I am Fridge. Sorry, I got a bit of a cough right now. And welcome to episode 57 of Love Civilization Started Over. At the end of the last episode, we saw the beginning of World War III when the pink Iberian country over here nuked Goiki, and that led to the entirety of the Star Alliance declaring war on this Pink Iberian country. However, it turned out that the Pink Iberian country was secretly part of the Cross Alliance, so that led to the entire Cross Alliance declaring war on the Star Alliance. However, at the same time, over here in Greece, the South Greece, aka Crete, was given permission by Korea to invade North Greece, or well, just normal Greece, I guess. However, if that wasn't enough, this country over here also decided to invade into the Vietnamese country / southern China country and the Cambodian country, which means that now we see that the Heart, Star, and Cross Alliance are at war with each other. So any country that has one of those symbols on it is in this war, and we'll be starting out this war pretty close to where it started, over here in Goiki, where troops from Goiki and also troops from this country down here are going to try to knock out this country pretty quickly. The capital of this country did get nuked, however the leader did escape, or got into a bomb shelter, I should say, before it went off. So the leader is still alive, currently just probably in a nuclear bomb shelter right now, but these troops will continue to head in. And they will take this entire province, getting pretty close to the capital, which is currently a nuke filled with nukes. However, over here, we will see the pushback begin by this pink country, who did have some troops from Cross Alliance members, such as, well, actually, that's the Economic Alliance. Well, actually, the only member who had troops there was Cleo, because they were the only one who knew about this. Maybe a few others did, but Cleo was like the main one who knew about it. So they had some troops there ready to go. So with that, they will push back a little bit over here. However, this province will stay under Goiki's control for now. Heading over here to Greece, the southern Greece are pushing in, and, well, unlucky for northern Greece, they're kind of sandwiched between two enemies, so they're probably going to die pretty quickly as we see this country start to push in. However, this country also has to deal with this country up here, so they'll start sending troops into here as well, pushing towards this major city and capturing it pretty quickly. And also sending some over here to defend this major city a bit more, and also threaten these few major cities up here. But these troops start to head in, and this major city is currently being attacked by, there's totally like all three troops are, like all three sides are all fighting there. Over here though, this place is going to be even better for these troops as, well, the capital and most of the military is over here. So this area is going to probably fall pretty quickly as we see these countries invade it, with them believing that if they capture this major city here, then that's really all they need to do. And we see it get captured pretty quickly by Turkey, Macedonia, who also captures a few of these islands. Anyways, though, heading over to another part of the war, we'll be heading over to this area here, where there is currently a massive naval fight happening between the Wales and Brittany, and Wales is going to take this major city from Brittany. Did anyone even remember that Brittany owned this major city? Because I forgot until recently. Also, that looks way too similar. This is the problem with having Okay, that's not much better. Let me just make it yellow. There. Now we can tell a difference. So they capture this major city, and there's a massive, like, naval fight happening here. Wales is stronger, however, they also have to deal with, well, the strongest country in the world over here. And up in Iceland, we're actually going to see fighting happening over here with the Nordic Union going down into Wales part over here and quickly capturing all of it as they capture these major cities here, which will lead to this area just completely falling over because, well, there's like no one except maybe like a few people living outside of the major cities here. So that's captured, and they start making plans to capture this island here. However, there is a massive naval base on it, so that will be a bit harder. So I need to fix this. I'm not going to get into why this looks like this. Let's just say that this is still a prison, but I never did my plan with that, so I'm probably just going to remove it. Anyways, heading over here, we have to talk about these countries here. Well, we are going to see some fighting occur as we see Belgica start to push into this blue country here, quickly taking these two provinces and pushing towards this major city here. However, heading over here, we do see Persia start to push into the Belgica a little bit. Heading over here, though, we have another fighting. If you remember, these countries all used to be in the same union, however it collapsed, and now we see them killing each other as this country pushes a bit further in. However, this country is not that strong compared to the other two. In fact, this is the weakest of the three, so it's not long before they start getting pushed back. They were really hoping that these two would send all their troops to deal with, well, actually, we're hoping that they would be busy fighting each other, which, I mean, they are going to be fighting each other. If we look at over here, we will see the Vietnamese push in towards this major city here and capture it, as the Cambodians start to push out towards this major city here. Heading over to Japan. Similar to Wales, they are in a bad spot, but they're actually in a worse spot because what's protecting Wales is that Nordic Union has to land on them, which is going to take raw materials. However, Korea already has an ally that borders Japan, that being South Japan, so South Japan and Korean troops start to invade into North Japan and quickly take this major city. And also push over towards this major city here and take it pretty quickly. While up here, they also are getting invaded, as we see this country make a landing here and start pushing, and they capture this major city. However, they don't focus too much over here, as they're mostly going to be focusing over here on this country here, which they start pushing into. And they get close to this major city, but Korean troops are arriving here, and that will slow them down and start to push them back. As they get pushed back over here, they do have 20 nukes, so they might use those, but we'll have to see. Anyways, though, coming back over here, this is probably going to be one of the biggest fighting areas, so luckily for the Huts over here, there's a lot of them here, and we see pretty quickly Egg, Italian, and some of these countries' troops start to head over here to help out these countries here. And this country is stronger than Turkey Macedonia, so they push back pretty quickly. In fact, they other than this major city, they managed to take back all this here and start a push into it, taking this major city here. But however, they are going to be sending most of their troops to help out Greece, as we see them push back over here and push them completely out over here. However, in this battle here, it does end with the Turkey Macedonia winning as they push along here, now pushing into the fascists and pushing them back to their border over here, as South Greece not in a very good position. Now heading up over here, these two are going to have some fighting happening. Now, luckily for Crimea, they are stronger, and they will quickly start to push into here, going towards the capital of this country. And when they're about to take it, something bad happens for them. And that is another country joining this war on the side of the Cross Alliance. Now, what country do you think this is? Well, we already knew that these two countries had a good relationship, so we're going to see the joining of the yellow team over here join. They had a good relationship with this country here, and they have bad relationships with these two countries that border them. They had okay, like, they weren't the best, but also not the worst relationships with this country down here, but they will fight it if it means that they get more land, because in the end, this country mostly just wants land. That's something they've been trying to do forever, so they quickly start pushing into both of these countries around them, pushing here and capturing this major city pretty quickly, and also pushing over here and capturing this major city pretty quickly. And them pushing in here is going to lead to this country needing to pull its troops back. However, they will find someone to help invade them, that being a country that they were already in a defensive pact with. And while this country didn't join, because until now this country wasn't directly attacked. However, now that Crimea has been directly attacked by the Yellow team, this country will join the war, that being this country up here, obviously, which also means that this country is now going to be active in the war. And, well, this country is stronger than this country. However, they are fighting a two-front war, and they are going to be focusing a lot of their troops over here for now. So we won't see much fighting happening on the other end. How they push down and capture this major city, but they're mostly going to be defending as they send troops down here to help out over here. However, this country does get pushed back from the capital. Heading up north, we have to talk about these countries here, because they also border this country here. Now, Estonia here, for basically all of their history, they have been in some sort of alliance or defensive pact with the Nordic Union. And this country has always been in an alliance or defensive pact with Estonia. So these three countries here are all really good friends. So I don't know why I found that important, but just thought that was something neat to state. But this country is going to start invading into the purple country. And we also see Latvia, I guess this would be over here, start to push in. But they don't want to push in much. They don't have much of a military. They do have a military, but it's pretty weak. As for this country here, they want to send troops through this country. However, this country is refusing both these countries to send troops through. So they have to send their troops around over to this country, which, I mean, will make it so this country pushes in a bit more. However, not much. Anyways, heading back over here now, we see a bit more of pushing back from this country here. However, in the south, this province here has been completely taken. And while the leader is in a bunker in the capital, the nuclear waste is kind of actually protecting him, as these troops don't want to enter into the capital because they don't want to die from radiation. So that's good for them. Anyways, though, heading to the south, technically only the South Africa and this country are at war. However, South Africa will get their allies to join, as these five countries, 5 countries, are always helping each other, so they convince these countries to join, which is going to be bad for Madagascar, as they quickly start losing land over here, with a lot of their land getting taken in just a few days. And if that wasn't bad enough for them, another country is going to join this war, a country who wants some land back from Madagascar. That country being Prague. Prague, which, yes, is the name of this country, it was named by the Yukos theocracy, is going to join this war on the side of Madagascar and start to push into Madagascar over here. So Madagascar pretty busy with the Circle Alliance, so Frog is going to take a lot of this land pretty quickly. Also, the Circle Alliance is only at war with Madagascar, not the rest of the X Alliance or the Star Alliance. However, South Africa is at war with all of them. But a push starts to happen over here, and things not looking good for Madagascar. Heading over here, a lot of the only countries over here that are in this war are you and the... I assume, what the... Oh, that's an island. I thought there was like a square. I'm like, a square? Why is there just a random square there? Like, for the Square Alliance? But, no, these two countries are the only ones currently in this war, so they're going to be sending their troops over to help out. Especially sending them up here to help out, Louisiana, who is up against a stronger opponent, that being, this country here, Florida, and they push into Florida a little bit, but Florida is pretty strong and pushes them completely out. However, then there's a stalemate on the border, so Florida will focus on knocking this country out, because being in a two-front war is not good, so they think, let's knock out the weaker country first, which they start to push into, and it goes pretty successful with them taking this major city, and also starting to push towards the capital. Now, this major city here just got rebuilt. Actually, it was nuked last time that these two fought on the border between these countries here. There's a fight happening here, and both these countries' troops are fighting when some of them start to enter into this country here. So the troops enter in here and start fighting over here. And this is going to make this country here mad, and it's going to make the entire Triangle Alliance mad, and the entire Triangle Alliance is going to declare war on these countries, which means that they are now at war with both the Cross and Star Alliance, so they are now on the same side as the Heart Alliance, so they will send troops to push back against these troops here and kill all of them, before starting to push into these countries here. So they start to push into them with, well, this country being, so these countries completely surrounding them. So they start to push in, and while other than Port, they're all pretty weak. And even then, Port is not even like a top 15 power. Their economy and their stability are incredibly good, but military-wise, they don't have the strongest. And these three up here are not that strong either, so... but together they do completely surround these countries, so it will have an effect. But they start pushing into them as these countries try to get more help. And up here, we see a deal get made between the Nordic Union and another country. A country that already wanted to join this war, but now that they have been guaranteed to get what they want in the treaty, if they win, they will join this war. That being Scotland, who wants their land back from before they had the war with Wales a while back now. So they joined this war, and with this, Nordic Union troops are going to be stationed here, and the two are going to start pushing into Wales, with them pushing over here and taking this major city. Along with that, the Nordic Union has successfully captured this naval base up here in these islands, so that's good for them. And with Scotland now in the war, they send a lot of their troops here. This is mostly Nordic Union troops. Scotland more so just gave them a place to land. So they start fighting over here and taking a lot of these islands up here. And Wales is panicking. However, over here, they are winning their naval battle with Brittany, so that's good. Anyways, though, we're now going to see a few other countries join this war. A few countries that all want some things from other countries. The first of which is a country that wants land from two different countries, and those countries are on different sides of this war, so they are going to be at war with two sides, and why not just join the other side? So we're going to see the Dutch join this war on the Star Alliance. So why are they joining this war on the Star Alliance? Because they want some land back over here, and they want some land back down here. And you know what? Why not just take some other land from over here while you're at it? It's just more land. Now, they are kind of surrounded, but luckily for them, they did not come alone, because there's a few other countries that want some land. And that country is this one down here, who they more so just don't like the Heart Alliance, and they see the Star Alliance as a better option than the Cross Alliance, because, well, some members of the Cross Alliance, like Korea, for example, have committed genocide, so they don't really want to be affiliated with them. However, the Star Alliance will not just join them. They don't like the Heart Alliance because they did influence this revolution over here, which, I mean, this country was also got their independence, but they're kind of mad that the NVU, the North Union, as an expansionist, to push there into this country here, as we see the Dutch, who were ready for this, start to push in over here a bit, and also into Germany a little bit. They send a few troops into Egg, but they're mostly holding defense positions in Egg. But they do push in over here quite a bit. This is where most of their fighting's going to happen, pushing into Wales, and pushing over and taking these major cities here. Anyways, though, these are not the only countries joining. There are some other countries that are going to be joining here, and those countries include Chinese cheese. They do not like the fascists, so they have a choice to make. And that choice is, do they join the communists or the democratic countries? They view this Star Alliance as the better country to join, so they would join that. I will get to the fight in a second, because first I need to get to the fighting over here. Well, we are going to see the terrorist country that's, if you remember, this country was built on terrorism, and the country that united to fight terrorism fight each other now. So the countries will start to invade into each other, and the terrorists will do terrorist things as they invade in, as they are dropping a lot of bombs on these countries and on these cities. I mean, specifically these two here and also this one here are getting a lot of bombs dropped on them. And they start to push in, and they capture this major city, which they had basically bombed into the ground already. Neither of these countries have nukes on them, which is probably good for the world, because if they did, well, they'd probably be nuking each other right now. Speaking of nukes, we have to head over here, where a country has decided that they're going to use nukes. This country here realizes that they are weaker than these two countries, and they know that if they don't use their nukes, they are going to lose. So they decide that now is the time to use them. They drop a nuke here, and also one on a military base over here. They also drop some nukes on this country. One hits this major city here, and another hits a military base there. With that, this country has one nuke left, and are they going to use it on this country or this country? Well, they choose to use it on Vietnam, hitting this major city here, which is pretty close to the border of this green country here, which this green country is still technically at war with China, so who knows, maybe something's going to happen, but we see nukes fall, and these nukes did destroy some of the nukes in the other countries. For example, Vietnam lost 3 of their nukes, and are now at 7. They had 3 in the military base that got nuked over here. Actually, they had 4 there, not 3. They had 4 there, and then they have 6 in another military base that I will not mention yet. But they will be reduced to 6 nukes. And this country over here lost 2 of their nukes. So they now have 3 nukes. And this country obviously has no nukes. Do need to update the other countries because there is any update, but I'll do that in a second. I'll probably just wait for updating nukes at the end of these episodes, but we see a bit more pushing in now from this country. Pushing in over here. And also over here a bit more. However, they are still the weakest of these countries here. And them using nukes is making other countries look at them as bad. But for now, nothing's really going to happen. Over here, Persia is going to push further into this country, with them pushing along the coast a bit more, and also making a push towards this major city here. However, the fighting here is pretty slow, as there's a lot of these 2 countries are both in the top 10. Hanging over here, though, joining this war, China is going to instantly send troops into some of these countries around them. Those being this country here, which they were just at war with, they push into, and they also start push into Korea, which they push over and get to this major city and capture it. But soon after, Korea starts to push back, and not just push back, but they also are going to do some other things. They nuke this major city here, and they also nuke some military bases. They nuke one here. They nuke this major city here. They nuke a military base here. And they've used up 4 nukes on this country now. However, China is going to respond with their own nukes as they nuke over here in this major city. They also drop a nuke over here. And they drop one over here on a military base there. Finally, they're going to drop one on this major city here. So with that, some more nukes have fallen over here this time. And the border here is pretty radiated. Now, why did they not nuke this major city? Because they already had plans to capture it, which they do, as they send troops in here to capture it. They capture this major city, but soon after, Korean troops arrive and push them out. They also start pushing over here, and they're pushed out over here as well, as China starts to die, as they get pushed in over here. Now, over here, things are going well for them, pushing into this Mongolian country, as they push up towards this major city here, and capture it. They also start a small push into this country here, but not much. They're not really focused on this country at the moment. Heading over to Japan, though, well, South Japan, I mean, not South Japan, North Japan, you're not in the best spots, as you are dying to 2 different countries. You were kind of unfortunate to be in this position, fighting a 2-front war, as this country pushes a bit south more, getting close to the capital, but they are still more focused on their other front. However, South Japan is doing a lot of work here, capturing these major cities. And they get pushed up towards the capital. We also see another push come from this country. This country gets the capital first and captures it. And the rest of this soon after falls over to South Japan. Up here, though, things are not going very well for this country, though, as they are getting pushed back. This is mostly Korean troops by Korea and also this country here. And a push is made into this country that quickly takes this major city here and this area here, as things are not going good for them. Over here in North America, the push towards the capital of this country has gone successful, as the capital is captured by Florida, and soon after, this country, which was already pretty weak, collapses, which means that the communists have already lost 2 countries. However, the democratic countries, the democracies, are destroying Madagascar right now, so the fascists might be losing a country soon. But you'll have to continue watching to see as this major city is captured and this major city. And with these troops all pushing in and capturing these major cities, they are pushing along the coast, and a lot of the troops of Madagascar are not liking this, as they are crying and wish that they were not forced to be in the military, as this country has just forced their entire population to be in the military. Except, well, a lot of the people just stop fighting and think, life would be better under these democracies than this fascist country. And with that, Madagascar is pushed completely out of the mainland, and this makes them mad. So what do? Well, they do something that they are probably going to regret, and that is called nukes. So they drop a nuke here. That's a bit big. Let me make that smaller. Also, these nukes are about the same size as nukes were in Ada's Proswicks during World War III. So nukes fall on these 2 major cities here. And also they hit a military base there. However, this country here, South Africa, responds by dropping nukes on a lot of military bases along the coast here, and also dropping one on the capital and this major city as well. Now, they could just completely light this country up. However, they know that there are some people here that do not like what the fascists are doing, so they don't give them the Christmas special yet. Instead, they're left like that. Anyways, though, the final thing we're going to see happen in this part, this is going to be a multi-video war. The final thing we want to see is the joining of a few more countries, and those countries are Trapezoid Alliance. They're going to join this war, and they quickly send troops into the United States of South America, pushing in and capturing this major city here pretty quickly because, well, this country, the United States of South America, has sent a lot of their troops into other countries. Along with this country here, they had been sending their troops to help out in other places, and now they're getting murdered, which is not good for them. However, none of these countries are really too strong, so this country does have that going for them. But what's going to happen over here, we'll have to wait till the next episode to see, because this is where this episode is going to end. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.